Hello everyone and welcome to GoT Thrones, a Game of Thrones podcast. I'm Alexandra August.
I'm Johnny Kolasinski.
And welcome to part 2 of our discussion of Eastwatch, episode 5 of Game of Thrones season 7.
Yeah, this is our more in-depth discussion where on Sunday night we gave our top and bottom moments, and now we're going to dive a little bit deeper into what happened in my opinion, the unfortunately named Eastwatch.
You said top and bottom moments, and I went to a totally different place.
Yeah, that's
Shoot, our highs and our lows.
I'll find something. Our highs and our lows. There we go.
Yeah.
That's a lot better. This isn't the shipping podcast. So let's open on Bronn and Jaime.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought that this episode was the title of the episode had me so hyped for something as big as Spoils of War's last 15 minutes that I just felt a little blue-balled.
Well, I feel I don't disagree with you. I guess I feel like they've settled into a pattern though of having these big spectacular battles and then these sort of slower, more dramatic, but like more subtly dramatic, less action-packed episodes. Now
that I've seen the ending, I appreciate the episode a lot more. It was just my hot take on it was where's all the dead people?
Yeah, I don't totally disagree with you because personally, I'm actually getting a little numbed by the action. It's the Spoils of War was phenomenal, but I feel like had I not seen Battle of the Bastards, I would have been just absolutely on the floor and in tears and shaking. And it was, and not to compare the episodes, I'm not, but just like I feel like now the bar is raised so high and they keep meeting it and they keep exceeding it. It's still at this point I'm just getting like still a little bit numbed to it, I guess. I don't want to take it for granted though. It's so good.
Eastwatch, by the way, was once again the top rated episode of the season as far as viewership goes. I'm sorry, of the series as far as viewership goes. So they keep raising that bar higher as well.
Yeah. I really don't want to be the person who wrote the episode that doesn't break Eastwatch. On the whole, though, I really liked this episode. I found myself wanting to go back and watch it again, which isn't something I typically want to do with Thrones.
Sometimes we have to push ourselves a little bit to get that second watch in so quickly.
Well, not so much. Yeah, that too, just because you're like, okay, I'd like to watch, I don't know, some Real Housewives or something.
West Wing.
But, yeah, lately. But also, too, it's just, with everything that I like about Thrones, sometimes it's surrounded by just really sad, annoying things. And, that was partly this episode. Like, I wanted to go and rewatch the Jon and Dany stuff. I wanted to see the scene between Tyrion and Varys. But I didn't really...
But you didn't want to see Dickon die again.
No, that was fine. I liked them. I feel like that was the Tarly men at their best, and it really made me, well, we'll talk about it, but it wasn't that so much. It was the stuff with Arya, where I was like, this is plotting and ridiculous and obvious, and why does she keep getting these storylines when she's so amazing? But we can get into that, so...
Sad from a writing perspective, not sad from a viewer's perspective.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha.
But also, also that too. Also, there's just stuff that's painful to watch that I didn't like. I don't need to see Jorah peel off his skin again, ever.
Yeah.
That was fine.
Should we dive into it? Any big overarching themes or notes you want to talk about before we hop into it? All right, cool.
We're just gonna go in show order, folks, since everything is pretty intertwined and mixed up at this point.
Yeah, it's a little too intertwined for us to go location by location the way we have the rest of this season. So we open on a lovely beachside moment with Jaime and Bronn, and Bronn's Olympic level swimming ability to carry to pull Jaime out of however deep that water was.
Yeah. And also, they seem to have gotten very far from the battle.
Yeah.
Which I thought was terribly convenient. Though, if it's a river, if they're in Blackwater, they could have been carried. But it seems like he would have had to get him out of that water fast.
Kudos to whoever smithed Jaime's hand, though, because that thing hung on like the Dickens.
Okay, so I thought when he went down in the last episode, if Bronn just really wants that gold or something, but I thought when he went down, it was very clear he didn't have his hand in that final sort of tableau. I might have to go back and watch spoils again, but I could have sworn that he didn't have it.
In which case, I'm just that one way or the other.
Really impressed with Bronn as a human dowsing rod, because does that man have a nose for gold? Or does that man have a nose for gold?
Right.
We talked about this a little bit on Sunday. I still feel the same way, that watching the Spoils of War and Eastwatch back to back, the opening of Spoils of War really dilutes Jaime's journey the opening to Eastwatch, I find, really dilutes the drama and the tragedy of Jaime's journey at the end of the Spoils of War. Like, you just watch him see his men literally blown to ash, and then Bronn drags him up, and Bronn's like, Jaime's like, I gotta tell Cersei. Bronn's like, good luck, man.
Yeah.
You're not gonna die till I get my gold. It just...
Right.
It was a little... I don't know what I'm asking for. Like, I feel like we didn't need to see him get pulled out in that capacity, I guess.
It didn't need to be... We didn't need the lighthearted Sandlot CPR moment.
No.
That we didn't quite get, but my headcanon it happened.
All I could do was stare at Bronn's baby blue eyes last up into in Spoils of War, since the rest of him is surrounded by ash and soot and mud. But that would have been really funny if Jaime had just like fiercely made out with Bronn and was like, "Ha, long con, been want to do that since we met."
The John Con, long con. Interesting point I saw on Reddit that might lead to what we're going to see of Bronn, since he survived against all odds. Jaime promised him a castle. Tyrion said, if you're ever asked to betray me, whatever they offer you, I'll double it. Thanks to Arya, there are 2 castles on opposite sides of a river sitting pretty empty right now.
Oh my god, Bronn would be the perfect new Lord Frey.
Because they wouldn't have to change anything.
They really wouldn't have to change anything. They would just have to be like slightly less dickish. And they would follow...
Slightly less... Yeah. A little more witty.
Bronn's not going to stab a pregnant lady. That's it. That's the line. He's going to try and get as much
not
money
for free.
Not for free. But he'd have to get the... I'm gonna fingers crossed say Bronn has a line as well. But yeah, I feel like he would do well. He would do well for House Frey. He would make them... give them faith in themselves once more.
And dragons are where Bronn draws the line.
And you know what also? Like, right here, he could turn the Freys into the Ferengi of the Westerosi, like, universe. They don't really have many scruples, but they're not, like... They're way worse people to meet on the street. So, right, Jaime and Bronn.
Jaime and Bronn. And then we get to see... we see Tyrion looking over the carnage and the amassed Lannister survivors as we hear Reigns of Castamere, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, every time they play Reigns of Castamere, I stop being sympathetic for whatever Lannister is on screen.
I mean, it's but this season it has no longer been a Lannister battle cry.
No.
Or a Lannister success song.
No, it just I know that it just reminds me of the Red Wedding, and it reminds me of all the shitty things they've done. And so anytime I feel like, I mean, I feel bad for Jaime, but honestly not for long. But anytime I like see the Lannister soldiers and stuff like that, I'm still like seasons 1 through seasons 3, just like, fuck all y'all. All y'all.
Even you,
Ed Sheeran.
I can't remember. Thank you. I wanted to say Ed Harris, which would have been an entirely different scene.
The Man in Black.
But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was interesting to hear Reigns of Castamere because of the fact that Tyrion Lannister was in part responsible for this carnage.
Oh yeah, well there were also the strains of Reigns of Castamere were playing during the Spoils of War.
Were playing during Spoils of War as well.
So I mean, it makes total sense at the conclusion of this battle they would play that. But I think if you notice too, I rewatched Spoils of War again in preparation for this one as well, and if you notice, we're seeing the battle from the perspectives of Tyrion or Jaime or Dany. Mm-hmm. It's one of those. So like when you see that,
Bronn.
Yeah, Bronn. But like, I feel like maybe it's just this moment that we're seeing it from their perspectives, but Jaime and Tyrion at this one point, like Jaime turns to the left, he's surveying his armies being decimated, and then all of a sudden there's this carriage this wagon drawn by 2 white horses just fleeing, and then he looks and sees it, and all of a sudden Tyrion on the other side focuses on the same thing and looks and sees it.
Yes, I did notice that.
That was beautiful. And I feel like it's I think they're just kind of hammering home that the brothers are feeling like, who the hell have we tied ourselves to? What have we done?
Mm-hmm. And that both Tyrion and Jaime are looking at opposite sides of the same coin.
Yeah, but are essentially the same side of the same coin, kind of.
Yeah, or the same side of different coins. I don't know. There's a lot of metaphors here that we could use.
They're on parallel journeys, we'll just say that.
Yeah.
But it kind of, bringing that up, like this whole scene with Dany, it's nice to see her angry, I suppose, but I also feel like it was frustrating a bit, especially considering we're seeing the Tarly men really die so honorably. And which really it deprived me of my like Dudley Dursley Harry Potter moment that I really hoped Dickon and Sam would have. But alas.
Yeah.
Dickon is no more. But
instead we saw Randall Tarly die a proud Westerosi naturalist, but still a proud person.
Well, and he kind of stated he's not wrong. If I were in his position, if this foreign queen came over with 3 dragons and was like, I'm your queen now, bitch, I'd have an issue with it too. They haven't seen how poorly Cersei's done. She hasn't been on the throne long enough for her to really like do any damage besides blowing up the Sept.
Well,
yeah, exactly. But still, I mean, and she's got the army. She's still in control. A man like Randall Tarly is not going to be like, well, okay, now hang on a minute. Aerys was way worse than she was.
But Randy is also a birther. I mean,
I'm saying,
we know that Dany was born in Dragonstone, and he's calling her a foreign-born queen.
I think he likes that when he wants to, because I think also it's important where she was raised. Because he didn't like Gilly, obviously. He wouldn't have liked Gilly if she was born north of the Wall, but if she'd been raised in Westeros, he'd have less of a problem with it.
Yeah.
And also he didn't fight on the side of the Targaryens. He fought on the side of the rebellion, as I recall. So I think he has no great love for Dany to begin with, so I'm sure he spitefully wanted to die in front of her. My issue with this whole thing that I was trying to get at way long ago is that I'm kind of annoyed at the, like, Dany's a tyrant or threatening to be a tyrant storyline, because she's not gonna be. She's gonna have a come to Jesus moment, and I'm just sort of like...
his name's John.
Oh, we don't even try, folks. This is called chemistry. So, yeah, how do you feel about it? I mean, are you at all interested in her, like, getting a little too angry with the dragons, or do you think it's a foregone conclusion that she's gonna get her ego slapped a little bit?
I'm 90% sure that she's going to have the come to Jesus moment, but only 90% sure. And so I'm more enjoying it because of Tyrion and Missandei and Davos.
Just kind of
and Varys, obviously.
That's a good point. Her move towards tyranny or just fascism or plain old madness is really interesting for the ripples that it drops. For the ripples it creates in her world and Jaime's world and Cersei's world.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, after Dany subsumes like 100 Lannister soldiers after killing Randall and Dickon, Jaime has to go home and face the music.
Yeah, Jaime hops on a bus and makes it back to King's Landing.
I love that apparently like they're in Utah too. Like I was listening to Close the Door and Come Here, a wonderful podcast. If you'd like.
Yeah, we've talked them up a few times, but we'll do it again because they're amazing.
Yeah. And they mentioned that like when they had somebody on, like they had a discussion of like where in hell in Westeros was that layout. It looked like fucking Grand Zion National Park. It looked like Utah. And
if that had happened though, we'd have known.
We would.
Like, there's no way that they would have gotten away with filming Game of Thrones in the U.S. and
No, I know they're not actually in Utah.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, I just feel like there's nothing. I don't imagine, like, that's not what I imagined the Reach to look like at all. It's more what I imagined Dorne to look like. So I guess I don't know, were you struck by that landscape at all?
I think I commented on, actually, in Spoils of War, how golden it was.
Right. It seemed very acrid and dry.
Yeah. But at the no, I guess fall wouldn't be like that. That's a good point.
I'm more thinking of just kind of the mountains and stuff. Like I said, they looked very, 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 like I said, very. Every time you see pictures of Grand Zion, I feel like you see mountains like that, or like stone formations like that. Anyway, something to chew on. It's also like, I guess, how long do we have any intelligence about how long an army of soldiers on march, how long that march would be, like how long that line would be? Several miles, or
I mean, it would depend on the size of the army.
Lannister and Tyrell army.
We don't have numbers,
right?
Like we don't have the biggest fighting force we know of is 20 good men. So we really don't have
60,000 isn't 60,000 in the Vale?
Yeah, that was exaggeration.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I don't think we have the numbers. Cersei did say that 1,000 wagons were burnt in the scene coming up. In the scene in King's Landing. So if that number is accurate, which I tend to lean against, because wait, was she still drinking?
She's always drinking. She's never not had a glass of wine in her hand. No, she isn't. And you can drink a little bit in the first trimester. Not that you should. You can also, you're allowed, like, suppose some women are allowed like one glass a day. Also, it's medieval times, so she would have drank during that whole thing.
And also, it's not like that's going to prevent the kid from coming out with
non-existent
foreheads.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the wine's the least of their problems. So in this next scene, Jamie comes in, I think is hoping that Cersei will finally...
The baby has 3 heads.
The baby's the 3 heads of the dragon! And a stunning twist! George R. Martin burns own house down, writes "End of Thrones" on piece of paper. This is what we can make of it. So Jamie comes in, and it looked like he was it looked like he's finally going to be like, okay, now she'll listen, and she's like, nah. No.
Her maternity clothes are a badass bubble wrap dress.
Yeah,
by the way,
I'm not digging like the off-duty queen garb that she's wearing. She looked. It's either I need the lion epaulets or the chains or something, or I need her to like just be in a robe.
Yeah, she needs the turtleneck.
No. So Cersei is very determined. She is very disappointed in Jamie, I think, but she's not letting this sway her at all, because as far as she knows, she doesn't care. She's like, we have money. Money has always solved all of my problems.
Yes.
And Jamie's like, dude, there's absolutely no way. She's saying that they can buy the Golden Company, and Jamie's like, I don't give a shit about any company. This is the Dothraki. They cut through us like butter, and she's got 3 frigging dragons, and Cersei's like, whatever.
Well, we've got lots of gold dragons, so we're good.
Cersei is the fantasy version of Firefest right now.
Oh my god, Cersei is Ja Rule.
We'll just do it and be legends, man. Every time I'm feeling down, I just Google Firefest, and it's still the gift that keeps on giving.
For me, it's Sean Spicer. And I can no longer look back at my day and say, at least I had a better day than Sean Spicer.
You probably did, let's be honest.
No, I'm pretty sure that he's wearing a poncho and experimenting with acid. He's been on mushrooms for the past week and a half.
That you could definitely be having a better day than him. The longer, anyway. So,
yeah.
Jamie he's got to figure it out. Like this, I mean, it was wonderful. I don't know I'm curious how you felt about the Olenna reveal. I thought it was immensely satisfying. I knew Cersei wouldn't really vocally believe it, but when Jamie laid it out for her, and was like, hey, who the fuck would you want your granddaughter to be married to? Tommen or Joffrey? Who could you control more easily? Who would really make you the shadow ruler behind the Iron Throne? The shadow ruler on the Iron Throne. And it's interesting to me because I feel like that wasn't really Olenna's motivation. Like, I think it was her family for sure, but I don't think she was moving to King's Landing and try to, like, puppet around Marjorie. She trained Marjorie to rule.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's Jaime's perception of her, or if he's just trying to convince Cersei, or if that was maybe just a little bit of funky writing and they just kind of flutzed Olenna's motivation. I don't... How do you feel about that?
I think that calling Olenna the power behind the throne would not have been inaccurate.
Right.
Not because she was pulling the strings, but because ultimately she if she wanted something, she would have gotten it. She would be the mastermind, but not like
not the puppet master.
Exactly. Yes. I do think that the reason I liked the way Cersei handled the Olenna reveal is that I feel that it directly led to Jaime meeting Tyrion.
Well, that's
that
because she's so far beyond reason at this point.
Yes, he accepted the meeting and did it, as far as he knew, behind Cersei's back, because, in part because he saw that
her willful delusion.
Yes, that she learned from watching Joff.
That's interesting. Because I had the I thought for me it was that she very visibly internalized it, and she was very visibly upset by it, and then just threw it away, which is a very Joffrey thing to do. And this is again why I'm so annoyed with Jaime this episode, or just annoyed at their characterization of him, and how desperate he is for something, for some kind of love or validation, that he'll believe it when she says, when his wife, who hasn't had a child in 14, when his wife, his sister lover wife, I don't know, his unfortunate choice in life partner, says that she is pregnant after, like, he doesn't blink at her age. He doesn't blink at the fact that she hasn't gotten pregnant in 14 years. I'm guessing, I feel like that's how old Show Tommen-ish was. That he's so, and it's the perfect tool to manipulate him. And she's not a nice person. It's not like Jaime can be like, oh, she's never done anything before. Of course she wouldn't lie to me about having a baby. She blew up a bunch of people recently and is ignoring reason. And she tells you that she's pregnant, and boom. It's just frustrating.
My opinion on that is, and getting political here, but we've got enough reasons to hate Cersei without bringing in the men's rights activist straw man of, and now she's faking a pregnancy to get what she wants.
Yeah, again, and I was a little bit reactionary to that just because I was so excited about the idea of, like, a fake baby.
It's not that I doubt it; it's that I don't like it if that's the path they're going, because I think because they've had.
No, I understand.
Such a problem with with handling feminist issues well in the past.
Yeah. Oh, of course, and that makes I understand that.
I don't doubt it.
No. Yeah. No. I understand. I never thought you didn't doubt it. I just think that it's just, I know it's a distasteful trope, I suppose, and I think the only reason it didn't bother me was because, and we said this before, that didn't bother me is because it was Cersei, and this seems, for very few women in the field of television these days, right up her alley. But yeah. I see I see the point you're making. We'll see. I've kind of stayed low just because I've been doing my own writing on it. Has anybody else reacted to that though? Or I feel like people
have been talking about it quite a bit. I mean, you can see it on our Facebook comments. There are a lot of people. That. Yes, you did. But I've seen it elsewhere that there are a lot of people in the faking it category. Yeah,
I didn't want to say the age thing just because I don't I think because Lena Headey just had a baby like less than 2 years ago, I think. So, but it seems like, especially just from a medieval standpoint, that would seem very strange to me. Or not really, I guess. It depends.
How old was Joanna? We don't know.
So I guess Jaime leaves his meeting with Cersei. We jumped forward ahead a little bit with the baby thing, and then we head back to Dragonstone. Jon can fall even more in love with a girl who rides a dragon, and then he touches Drogon, and it's very special.
It's very special, and was enshrined in a doggo meme, which basically combined two of my loves.
You'll have to post that. I didn't see it.
Making a note.
All right. I liked. It concerns me that Dany made a big point of being like, "Hey, everyone thinks they're beasts. They're my children. I love them like they're my children because they are my children." I'm like, one of your children is gonna die.
Yeah, or all three. Dragony will be their crowns, and Dragony will be their No, that doesn't work as well.
Well, this is probably an interesting moment to bring up this discussion, because every time I look at these dragons, I'm like, yeah, there's so much power. Wait, there's so much power. I have to wonder if it's not the more responsible thing at some point. I wonder if the issue is going to be if and when they defeat the Night King, because I sure hope they defeat him. I feel like this whole thing is a bit pointless if it ends with a bunch of zombies. I'll be sad. But
if it ends with the musical version, the stage musical version of Little Shop of Horrors, where the plants take over the world.
Yeah, that'll be spoiler alert for Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh yeah, but only the stage version.
Only the stage version.
So I guess spoiler alert for the movie
as well. Just back it up, Johnny. Just dig yourself out. It's okay. Keep digging.
He just wants to be somewhere that's green.
But anyway, yeah. So it's like, I feel like if they're gonna defeat the Night King, it makes a lot of sense to also maybe get rid of the dragons that are incredibly dangerous in the wrong hands. And
this all goes back to the Grand Maester conspiracy that we aren't seeing at all in the show.
Right. And that makes sense too. I'm wondering
speaking of dragons, sorry for the dog nose behind us.
I have to wonder, well, then maybe this is why they're introducing Archmaester Marwyn kind of nowish, so we've got a relationship with Old Town, so now we have somebody that we've seen since Season 6 who's like, hold the phone. These dragons...
are bad. These are bad ideas.
Horrible ideas. I know they're lovely. Hi, yes, you're lovely. But...
Yeah, you're adorable. Let me scratch you behind your ear, but also you and your brothers need to die.
Because they would like Marwyn, too, if he went up there. They would totally be like, what's up? Holla at your boy.
Yeah.
Marwyn would be like petting one of them and then throwing a ball to another, all the while giving a lecture on like Valyrian steel to somebody, to Miss Sandai.
Giving a lecture on why dragons shouldn't exist, Sam Tarley.
Yeah. Drogon's like on his back. I'm loving this. So then, yeah, that kind of worries me. Jon and Dany I'm still enjoying. How are you feeling about them?
Equally good.
Yeah, it's I'm surprised.
There is nothing new or surprising other than the fact that they actually have chemistry, possibly because they're the same height.
Well, and it's still exciting to see these two characters who like have been so far apart. I don't think either's really heard of the other until recently. So it's exciting to see that. And then I think it's also one of the first kind of real romances on the show, aside from Yeah, and I hesitate to...
It's like when you go to the big family reunion for the first time and you meet that cousin and it's weird, but... Oh, sorry. A little too much. that didn't actually happen. I'm putting that out there.
No, I think I feel like we haven't had like a two leads meeting and falling in love. It's always been supporting characters, or it's always been with a supporting character.
And Brienne.
Supporting character, somebody with a supporting character.
Tormund and Brienne are not supporting characters.
Yes, they are.
They are the leads in my heart.
But yeah, I mean, do you think that has something to do with it? The fact that this is a little bit more traditional and
absolutely. It's not so much that it's more traditional as it's getting weight.
Yeah.
It's not being treated as a side plot. It's given time and it's given the moments that it needs, as opposed to, I mean, Sam and Gilly are fantastic, but Sam and Gilly were also established in about 45 seconds.
Yeah, and it was also like I'm not aspirationally shipping Sam and Gilly, let's say, but John and Danny is like kind of like Brad and Angelina. Not that I like much preferred Brad and Jennifer. Yes, these are real people. No, I do not actually ship them, but I feel like they're kind of a super couple in that sense. And I like that we're actually getting to see, yeah, I think you're right, getting to see a romance take center stage. I'm curious to see how well they do it, if it's going to be a lot of longing glances, and then all of a sudden in the heat of battle or something, they decide to like...
They make out on Drogon's back.
Or something like that. You know, it could be nice if they had like dinner or something, but I'm not holding out hope. It's also, too, a romance
we've already had a dinner scene, and it was Tormund and Brienne.
But it's kind of interesting to me how there's also nothing really standing in their way. These guys, like, they're both single. They're not
aside
doomed.
From, genetics.
Okay. Again, we're having a full discussion about whether or not Cersei's baby that she has by her brother is real. So, I mean, let's just throw the incest out.
Could be Moon Boys for all I know.
Yeah, so...
I've been saving that one.
Could be Moon Boys. But yeah, I feel like it's I feel like they actually... I don't have any, like, misgivings about them ending up together and it being this sort of fairy tale thing, but I feel like for the first time it's a romance that doesn't seem doomed. That it's like, oh, Arya, don't develop a crush on Gendry. Everyone dies right now. Everyone. Just move on.
Except for apparently Arya and
Gendry. But still. Which apparently officially it is Gendry, not Gendry. And
I know.
I'm a little...
I kind of want to go back and edit every one of our episodes.
Yeah, I also like saying Gendry more.
Yeah. I didn't think I would.
Also, Jorah's back.
I will continue saying Gilly.
Gilly, yeah, Gilly. Gil. That's what my face.
I wonder if David Peterson got brought in on the pronunciation of these names.
A Gilly, probably not. I feel like George has that covered. So Danny and John's moment is interrupted by Jorah's reappearance. Yeah,
by Jay Bear's appearance. I swear he had a new haircut.
I think he did,
and
too.
And it wasn't good.
I gotta say, too, like, it was weirdly... I don't understand their relationship anymore. Like, they had this wonderful reunion. She's always happy to see him, always sorry to see him go. I mean, unless she's kicking him out for lying to her. But
always sorry to make him go.
Yeah, it's just... Yeah, she actually has made him leave all 3 times. But it's... clearly,
if you love someone, set them free.
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is, like, did you read clearly what each of them felt for each other in that embrace beyond just, like love? It's odd to me that it's very weird and undefined, and it doesn't, like, I realize he's probably like a father kind of protector figure for her, but he's 100% in love with her. And
he's 100% in love with her, and he's going to die for Jon Snow. This is me calling it right now.
I don't think you bring Jorah Mormont back and have Ian Glenn as a title character to bring him back, wave to Daenerys, go up north and die. I think he's marked for death, even though he's survived a remarkably longer time than I thought he would. I feel like if it happens in another episode, I think it's possible. I would feel cheated though out of Jorah time.
I'm not saying it was a good thing. I'm not saying this is a good call. I'm saying that this is my prediction: is that he is going to be the heroic Bruce Willis in Armageddon, dying for Ben Affleck.
Yeah. I know, that would just be... I feel like Jorah's been trying to do that, though, for, like, 6 years.
He just didn't find the right guy to die for.
Because he was looking the wrong...
Because he was looking at his... Yeah, he was going to die for his Vo Kravitz. And...
He was always going to die for Danny.
Yeah, but for who for Danny?
I think we've gone off the rails.
A little bit. Yeah, so I think Jorah's new haircut was, if you watched Queer Eye for the Straight Guy back in 2003, I think it was directly from Carson.
Mm-hmm. He's gotten blonder.
He has. I will take your word for it.
We take a quick detour up north where Bran
Yeah.
works into some birds. Then they check out what's going on.
What is apparently a unpleasantness of ravens?
An unkindness of ravens.
An unkindness of ravens.
Yeah, it's a murder of crows and an unkindness of ravens because apparently Edgar Allan Poe just decided all of this at some point and thought nobody would notice.
Yeah.
I just have a feel I mean, obviously that has nothing to do with Poe's literature, but I just have a feel it sounds like a very Poe-esque thing to name a group of ravens. So, question here.
And I have no reason or research behind this, Winston Churchill.
An unkindness of ravens. That's my Winston Churchill, folks.
We will fight them on the beaches.
It was spectacular. He didn't like Nazis either. Crazy. So, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, no. So, okay. So, what do you think about the Army of the Dead? Do they have a secret plan? Are they just going to get people to East? Are they just going to head to Eastwatch? Or are they heading to Eastwatch intentionally and the Army of the Dead just moves very, very slowly?
They got the Raven from Bran, correct?
Who do you mean?
They be stealing this from the Ringer, Snowshin 7.
Well, who got the Raven from? What are you talking about?
John, etc.
Yeah, that's why they went to Eastwatch.
So yes, their plan is that they know that it's there. They know that that's where they can meet them, and everything else is just winging it.
So, do you think their plan is to like get in the water and go around the wall that way?
No, they're going. Oh, do you mean the White Walkers?
Yeah, that's what. Their army is moving very, very slowly. Yeah, no, I'm not talking about.
I misunderstood.
No,
I was like, what's Snowshin's 7 plan? It's a bad one.
We can't drop Snowshin's 11. I think yet. I think that's. We have to wait a week for that to become more popular for people to understand it. It's a play off Ocean's 11 and is referring to the team that John is leading north of the Wall.
Also known as the Magnificent Seven, also known as Snow Patrol.
Oh, I like Snow Patrol the best. Because John would love Snow Patrol.
John would John would front Snow Patrol, and he is. But
yeah, so that's my question. It's like, okay, so
I think it's a go around the wall. I think there's a reason that we see. I think that there's a reason we see ice. In the main credits now, above and beyond the fact that we went to Eastwatch. And I think it's because of the fact that we have another long night coming and not just a regular winter. They are capable of bypassing the wall via, walking.
I guess that's, yeah.
That was really anticlimactic end of my
But they don't have ships.
No, but they have frozen water.
But they can't. I don't think there's an ice bridge. Okay, fair. That's fine. We're probably getting to semantics right now. That makes sense to me, but it just feels like they moved very slowly. So I think the only justification for that is, I guess, like, again, they've been asleep for 1,000 years. There's another long night coming. Maybe they just got up and now is the time to do that. Maybe they only made enough spells. Maybe they only cast the spell for so long, or they could only cast the spell to make them sleep while it wasn't a huge long night.
Walk from Hardhome. The Night King was at Hardhome, and then at wherever Bran was hanging out with the with Bloodraven 1.0.
Right.
They had to walk across the continent and shamble because they don't all have all of their legs.
Is Hardhome not where I think it is?
Isn't Hardhome on the west side?
I don't
Am
think
I wrong?
so. No, I think it's north of Eastwatch.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well then.
Yeah.
I'm incorrect there.
Okay, well, time and space have no meaning in Westeros, obviously. This we know. I guess I'm just curious. It just feels like all this hoopla...
They're moving at the speed of plot.
Not really, if you think about how long it took John to get around the entire north and, like, talk to the Glovers and talk to...
different plot.
Bear Island. Yeah, no, I get it. Like, I understand
also,
that
he has horses.
Yeah, I know, but, like, still...
I guess, so does the Night King.
He went, like, back and forth across the continent and made a circle, and the Night King has, like, purpose right now. I guess I feel like either it's just kind of, like, we're gonna over this in the writer's room and hope nobody notices, or they move slowly, but still, if somebody moves that slowly, how are they effective? And then finally, like, do they have a plan? Is there something else up?
I think they have a plan because Night King's been napping for a couple thousand years, and this is more than him stretching his legs.
Yeah, because if they had boats they could go around the wall, they could have just sailed from Hardhome down to Westeros.
Yeah. I don't think they have boats. I think that there's a reason we see frozen narrow sea in the credits now.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. All right. Well, I guess we're going to find out.
We spent 10 times as much time on the Bran scene as Bran did.
On the Bran scene.
Which, as Bran did on the Bran scene, which really takes me back to some of our early episodes.
Okay, so this is another problem I have. Like, with Arya later following around Littlefinger, which we'll get to, but Bran knows the Night King, like, knows what's up. The Night King understands warging. The Night King is really well steeped in everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Bran is openly warging into ravens, big flock of birds spying on the Night King that disperse the minute he turns his head. So this is obvious. The Night King knows he's being watched.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just
you think he's doing a feint?
Well, yeah, I kind of think that it seems like a big feint to do. I don't know. I still, like, this is based on my prediction that we're going to see the wall come down this season.
There's a lot of dead people. I mean, it's not that big of a feint if...
Well, anyway, it wasn't quite what I was getting to, so let me finish that really quickly. But just the idea that, like, again, Bran, if you can see the audience can see you. Can, like, somebody stealth bomb a little bit better?
Yeah. Well, also... Can the audience see Bran because he knows that ravens are... He knows to look at ravens, or because he hacked Bran last season?
I think both. I think that he's clearly... I mean, they don't communicate verbally, so clearly there's some kind of, like, extrasensory magic going on. I wouldn't be surprised if he were a little similar to the Three-Eyed Raven in ability.
Mm-hmm.
He just seems, I agree. Yeah, he just seems like he would have to be kind of hyper aware. He knows where to come and get the babies. Like I've just been going off of the Night King as him just sort of being unidentifiably magical. Like, he's very powerful. He's powerful in strength and he's powerful in magic because he's very old. And also, he is a magical creature. He was made by the children of the forest, so so he's not human. So it stands to reason that he's just as powerful as Bran, if not more, except in the fact that he can't travel south and Bran can't walk. So. Way to go, Children of the Forest. Once again, just want to thank you guys all for that.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't even the best of intentions, because why the fuck did they even do it?
They did it because they wanted to create a soldier to fight man, and then they just... This is what happens when you make robots. This is exactly what happened to the people who created the Cylons.
Elon Musk tried to warn us.
The final 5 Cylons tried to warn us. I've been in a BSG mood lately. So yeah, then we head back down to Old Town, and...
All right, here's what's going to happen. End of the series, we're going to find out, like, in Season 4, Episode 4 of Season 8, Gilly's been a White Walker the whole time.
All of a sudden her eyes are going to turn, she's going to pop out contacts and be like, I'm from the future, and my eyes are blue. Or she's going to be on top of Sam and her spine's going to...
Her spine's going to start glowing blue.
Just one of those.
And she'll start singing all along the Watchtower.
It's going to get weird, folks. It's going to get weird. So Citadel shows Sam and, like, a council of maesters. They've received Bran's Raven. And
yeah, they received Bran's Raven.
It's from Maester Wolkan.
Yep. What did they say about him?
They said he was clever. They're like, he's quiet, but he's clever. And then all the other maesters who are southern assholes obviously are like, oh yeah, but he's up north. North is dulled the mind of more than a few good maesters. Can't tell if it's the drink, the women, or the company, or the conversation. Har har har. And Sam's sitting there just like, screw you guys. My best friend's from the north. And they make, like, he catches that it's Bran. And he's like, wait, a crippled boy. He's like, I sent that kid under the wall like 4 years ago, and he has outlived everyone I've ever known that's gone over the wall except for my friend John, who also died.
My note on this scene was that I've started calling Archmaester Ebros Archmaester Belding. Because it's just so much, Sam, you should have learned your lesson by now, but I'm going to tell you again. But I'm not really mad because we're really best friends.
Oh, wait, not Archmaester Marwyn, you mean, right?
His name is Zebros in the show.
Like Jim Broadbent's character?
Yeah.
What?
His name hasn't been... We covered this.
No, we didn't. Not me.
Yeah, we did.
You and I did not cover this.
I did it with Damien. That I only picked up on it because of the fact that there were subtitles. That I watched with subtitles. But his name is Zebros and not Marwyn.
I'm just going to call him Marwyn.
Yeah.
If you want to call him Eros, that's...
I'm calling him Belding.
Okay. This is going to get real confusing for you folks. Sorry about that. So I'm glad it was short, and I'm kind of... Jim Broadbent's so good, I'm really happy to see him do anything. So I'm just happy there's more of him. He is Ebros! What the hell? That's so dumb. Now I feel bad. We'll just call it... Well, still Marwyn to me.
He's still Marwyn to me, damn it.
Too bad he's not more of a mage, but I still like him. He sort of kindly is like, no, we'll make, we'll look into this. We'll take it seriously. And then Sam leaves and they're like, hey, does he know his brother and father are dead?
Nah.
And
no.
Marwyn's like, yeah. I haven't had the heart to tell him, hey, are those cookies?
Yeah.
He looks so...
That was like... It totally fits the character, and at the same time is so upsetting because it means it established that none of his Sam moments were an act, that he's not doing anything secretly in Sam's best interest.
No, I think this version of Marwyn is pretty... I think he's pretty much an open book. It just creeps me out that... I read that piece that you shared. I think you're right. Given the scene, it's like that. My take on him has never been that he's secretly working in Sam's favor. Just that, like, Sam has to catch him at the right moment. Sam has to convince him, and he's not just going to listen to Sam because Sam ran down from the north. It's like, I saw zombies. I swear I saw zombies and I killed one. Help! Like, they probably get 5 people like that a day at the Citadel. People who are like, you guides, there is a mermaid in the harbor. Give me $50. I'll bring it to you.
Well, it's less that they get 50 liars. Every year, it's that they get 50 people telling the truth, that there's always another disaster.
Yeah,
and if they break their rules.
It's sort of the point where education kind of defeats itself. It's like you build something off of, you build this wonderful palace of knowledge off of
they're living in their ivory high tower.
Well, they built this ivory. Yeah, I heard you. They've built this sort of whole society on a few presuppositions, one of which is that these things don't exist, and they do, and they can't dismantle their foundation. Well, I think they can't I'm saying, like, the Citadel, it's like you can't dismantle that information. They've just stopped studying the old shit because they didn't find it relevant anymore, and now it's really hard to sort of break apart what they've built to accept what Sam's saying is true, because what Sam's saying is true invalidates a whole lot of other shit, invalidates a lot of other belief systems.
I disagree that that's their tack.
I just think it's what happens. I don't think it's an intentional attack. I think it's what happens.
Yeah, I think that it's not that they disagree. It's that essentially this stuff has always solved itself without our help. And so we need to focus on the natural side of things. Because if we don't, no one else will be alive to.
Yeah, they feel their duty for sure. I think, but see, I would disagree that that's their primary motivation. I think that they just don't. I think that they're happy being in control. I think they're a bunch of old white men who control the message, and they would have to change their message quite a bit, and it seems totally unfeasible to them. And then they have their normal lives, which are, are being the world's memories and taking it seriously. So. Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's a disbelief. I think that there's a...
Oh, I think there's at least a ton of people on that council who didn't believe a word Sam said.
I don't think there is from Ebros.
No, I think he believes
Belding.
it. We got to decide on a name for him. I kind of just, we can't do 3.
Lou. Archmaester Lou.
Archmaester Lou. Anyway, so Sam leaves feeling a little ameliorated, but he's still frustrated. And he doesn't know his brothers are dead, which is really sad because you feel like the Tarly men are all doing the same thing right now as standing up for what they believe in, and only one's left standing now.
Yeah.
I really did want Sam Tarly's to just have a nice moment with his dad. Just one. I wanted Sam to be like the guy who rolled in and to House Tarly, been like, listen, idiots. Break with Cersei. This is way more important.
This is more important. And Dickon convinces Dad, and they all go north. And
then one of them dies. That's fine.
And one of them dies, but before he does, Sam gets Heartsbane for real.
That would be a little too treacly for me, but just something along those lines. Like a little bit of, come on now. Sam and Dickon and Randall got to hold hands and just till the very end, and Sam's just there. Really, not once could we have a moment like that, and you guys had to die forever. Whatever, Mom's mine now.
Yeah,
that would be pretty sweet. Like Sam has a castle now. I guess no,
except he doesn't because he gave it up twice.
That's true. His mom would give it back to him. So would his sister. She's not married yet. They would be so happy.
Do his two vows cancel each other out, kind of like Jon dying?
I mean, Sam is legit, like, having sex with a woman and playing dad to her baby. I'm pretty sure his Night's Watch vows are out the window, too.
Yeah, and his Maester vows, because he's pretty bad at that, as we'll see in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, Sam discovered college was not for him. But before that, we head back to Dragonstone for, I think, Johnny and I's mutual favorite scene of this week.
Yeah, and we talked about this quite a bit.
Varys and Tyrion just hanging out in the steps of the throne room, lounging. I love that room is just like, it's so imposing, but it really is just for show because she doesn't have a court to rule. So she doesn't have a court to rule. They just show,
like
it's
there
the NPR.
Is really the 10 of them.
It's a multi-purpose room.
Yeah, like I feel like Varys and Tyrion sitting around drinking and having these conversations. It was 50-50. Either they're going to end up north of the Wall or they're going to start a podcast.
Oh, they should totally start a podcast.
Like Pod Save Westeros.
You've been holding on to that one, huh?
No, that one was organic simply because I've been dwelling on political doom all week. Podcast.
Anyway. See, I think, we talked about this, I think, probably quite a bit in our first hot take, but just really just a beautiful result. One of these, now that we're in a show with such seasoned actors and such seasoned characters in the later seasons.
And they're in the same room.
And they're in the well, I mean, and also just characters, that have been friends have known each other for the span
7
of the
seasons.
series. Yeah. It's really nice to see them just kind of do what they do flawlessly. This was hilarious. Mm-hmm. You could almost telegraph every beat, but it was kind of like Tyrion and Varys is sort of a parallel of Jaime Braun.
Yeah, which they have been.
It's the dumbest joke, and it was so easy to pick, but it's like, did you read it? This is a sealed letter from the king in the north. So what's it say?
Nothing good.
Just nicely done, gents. That was great.
Yeah. We didn't do it justice. You should watch the show sometimes, guys.
Yeah, it's really, I think my favorite part of that scene was just Varys probably for the first time admitting to himself and to us that he bears culpability in all the things that he stood by when he was a puppet master, when he was the spider, managing everything and building towards this particular conclusion, and now faced with the fact that she might not be the right choice.
Yeah, Varys has been living his life by a ends justify the means since he, I'm going to say probably since he rose to enough power to actually be able to envision ends.
Well, also too the fact, I think that he's helpful behind the scenes. He's definitely, or more, I think you're right, but I also think it's because Varys knows what his abilities are and he knows what he does well. And I feel like at some point, I think he's being hard on himself at the moment, but I think at some point he probably just has been like, well, how else am I supposed to survive in this world? I have no penis. Or so we think. I mean, now having seen the scene with Missandei and Grey Worm, I'm not sure what a eunuch is in Westeros, but he was completely poor. He didn't have a lot going for him. He obviously wasn't going to go the magic red priest route after what happened, and I think he figured out pretty early on how to survive. I think some of his monologues in the books and on the show point that out. It's about, which I think makes him and Tyrion really good friends. They're both sort of like, just know who you are. Like what Tyrion says to Jon and is it Game of Thrones or The King's Road? He's like, know who you are, bastard, and then no one can hurt you with it.
Was it then, or was it Cripples, Bastards, and Broken Things?
Oh, geez, I don't know now.
It was in season 1.
Yeah, it was in season 1. It was in the first 3 episodes. Anyway, we liked that scene.
We did. So that was a great scene. And from there,
sorry, I had to take a sip of water, so Johnny had to vamp for a minute.
Yeah. I didn't recognize I was vamping, so I was also taking a drink of water. So this is how the sausage gets made, people.
Mm-hmm. We head back up to Winterfell.
Speaking of scenes we liked, let's go to one that I don't think either of us really liked, and that's Arya Sansa.
Yeah, it's not a fan of.
No.
Just, I think,
it feels false.
We can cover Winterfell, I think, in one fell swoop because it's isolated from here on out. But do you fine with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's more of the same of what we said on Sunday night. Just that I can see there being friction between the sisters. These are two people who, I've said this before, didn't like each other to begin with. There wasn't a lot. We only ever saw Sansa and Arya at each other's throats. They were never united on anything. If anything, we saw them split deeply. And yes, they were children, but they then spent a ton of time apart and didn't learn to, as most adult siblings do, just sort of get along and be friendly.
Not just that, but they became.
They became very. They became
people. Adult versions of their children's selves. They became people that would not necessarily get along.
Yet, I think, I don't know. See, that I don't think. That I just feel like they've grown. There's been a lot of crap that's happened to both of them, and there's a lot of work they would need to do to get back to that same point of intimacy. I think that they both don't really trust the other to a degree, or they don't really know each other very well. And so I think that they're having a hard time navigating this sort of like depth of feeling of like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you're alive. I'm so glad that you're back. Wait, who are you now?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I agree with you though. I think that the way Arya delivered that whole thing was just kind of mean. It was just sort of like, I rewatched it and I'm like,
it was petulant.
Yeah, it was. She's like, you always like nice things. They made you feel better than everyone else. I'm like, why are you being such a jerk to your sister? That's like rude. And she's sort of I kind of want to retract my statement from Sunday where I was like, I think she was trying to be nasty in order to get Sansa to face the fact that, because Arya points out to Sansa, like, you're thinking about it. You're thinking about consolidating power in Jon's absence because you think you deserve it. Mm-hmm. And Sansa, I can't tell if she looks like just uncomfortable at the line of questioning or if she's right, if Arya's right, but I don't know. I still don't feel like being nasty was the way to make that point. Like, it doesn't feel like Arya's intent was just to get Sansa to think about it. It seemed like she was just being, just being spiteful and mean and trying to catch Sansa on something. And Sansa's like, dude, you just got back. Like, what? I have stuff to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't like... to me, this scene was just setting up Littlefinger pushing them apart so that they can come back together.
Yeah.
And so it felt... this is the scene that, to me, felt railroady.
It felt contrived.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like... It also, like... Or is the storyline going to be like Arya's just looking for conspiracies everywhere because she's damaged and she doesn't trust anybody anymore? But I feel like that's not the way they're going to go with it. I feel like they're going to go with it being like Littlefinger trying to drive a wedge, and which is, of course, what we get the rest of the episode. Arya very obviously following him around in broad daylight, staring at him, and then flitting away the second he looks. Like, she doesn't know who Littlefinger is. Like, she knows who he is. She knows what he's good at.
Yeah. She's not naive. And
but all
the
of a
only
sudden,
reason the only reason I don't buy the idea that she's playing 5-dimensional chess and manipulating, noticed him noticing her noticing him.
Yeah. That this isn't all part of some double cross.
Yeah, is that we didn't see that it was her end game with the waif, which is I'm going to stand on a bridge in public and enjoy myself and get stabbed in the belly and then fall into the water and fight you in the dark and get myself sewn up by an actress. That wasn't an end game.
Right. So what I'm confused. What are you trying to say about this now?
I'm trying to say that she's not.
Oh, she's not that.
That they have written her with superhuman abilities when it comes to killing Walder Frey, but that ultimately she is going to be flawed for the purpose of drama in this scene where she was not necessarily before.
Yeah, you're right. She really wasn't great at spycraft anyway. It's just like, well, then what? So she's just a good fighter? I mean, we knew that season 1. She was a good water dancer. Come on now. I think it'd be cool if there's just a missing scene we didn't see where Bran's like, after Littlefinger leaves the scene and Arya and Sansa are there, Bran's like, oh, P.S. Here's the download on this guy. Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
And then, like, somehow Arya manages to switch faces with Sansa. I don't know. But then it's all negated. Like, the idea that they could be working to lead Littlefinger around doesn't work, really, because Arya has that provocative scene with Sansa alone.
Yeah.
So he's not there to see it. I don't know. Okay. So that happened, and I'm tapping my toe. I think we're both sort of, like, drumming our fingers, hoping that it pans out into something a little bit more interesting than sisters coming apart for 5 minutes only to come together a second later.
They're going to unite over the bodies of their enemy.
I hope so. Because also the other way for this to go is for Littlefinger to actually succeed and do some damage, and I don't even want to think about that. Just because Winterfell's a happy home for the first time again in so long. Please don't take that away from us.
It's a home.
It's way happier than it was. I'm qualified as happy. There's no poor old ladies half-skinned out front.
That we've seen.
Okay.
That we've seen.
But
and
then it's King's Landing, and it's so
then it's
fun.
King's Landing,
and it's so
and
fun.
It's super fun.
So fun.
My note on this scene.
Davos feels like over Tyrion right now. Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry, your note.
My note on this scene was, wow, they got there super fast. Then I remembered that Dragonstone is where it is, and King's Landing is where it is.
Yeah, and time
because
has no
they're
meaning.
right next to each other. Now, this is the one time that it made sense. But Davos and Tyrion were just flipping fantastic.
They roll up. Davos is like, bye, I gotta run an errand. And Tyrion's like, well, wait, what about me? Davos is like, don't get caught. What about the boat? If somebody takes the boat, we're fucked. Do your thing. It was just Davos being a professional. Loved it. And then Tyrion meets Jaime, and I did not see that coming.
No.
I mean, I kind of did. But...
I did not. I didn't see it coming the way that it... I didn't see it coming when and the way that it did. I didn't see it being immediate, and I didn't see it being a surprise to Jaime.
I like Bronn for that. I want to know who got the note
Bronn
to
for that a lot.
Like, who's sending ravens to Bronn? How do they know where to send it?
And can Bronn read?
Probably.
Maybe
there was like a young lady in waiting, not unlike Shireen for Davos.
Maybe it was just whoever sells the crab meat. They also know that Bronn will be visiting him at least daily. Bronn plays matchmaker. Yeah,
it's actually, we got a nice. It's frustrating because it was interesting to see Tyrion reach out and be like obviously says his piece from Dany, which is that they need to call an armistice, and everyone needs to calm down, and we'll worry about annihilating each other once the threat to the north is extinguished, for lack of a better word. And Jaime is like not really in a place to hear any of this, especially from his brother. But he listens enough for Tyrion to see an opening, and Tyrion says, like, yeah, I killed him. He was going to have me executed. He knew I was innocent. He always hated me. It was kill or be killed at this point, and Jaime just is allergic to the truth right now.
Yeah.
And doesn't want to hear it.
I mean, Jaime's had a bad day, or bad week, or however long the passage of time was in this episode.
I feel like Jaime's day has just gone downhill since he had dinner with the Freys. And it's just, and he gets back home, Sep's blown up, last kid is dead, his wife is painting his girlfriend's sister twin is painting a map on the floor and drinking and talking about how they're going to win against 3 dragons and a bunch of Dothraki.
Jaime's... And we're talking about a guy who lost his hand.
Literally the best moment of his life in 3 seasons.
Yeah, he peaked. I loved Tyrion and Peter Dinklage in this scene.
Peter Dinklage?
Peter Dinklage as Tyrion in this scene.
Yeah. It was what Peter Dinklage does best, which is vulnerability.
Yeah.
I'm not as big a fan of his when it comes to the comedy of Tyrion, as I feel like it's a little bit affected and he's not the most natural comedian, but...
Because the Tyrion comedy, when Tyrion does comedy, it's either cocky or hurt.
Yeah, and I just feel like
cocky or defensive.
Yeah, and it's just... And also, so much of that comedy reads to me when I read it in the books with a British accent that's really good.
Oh.
And Dinklage, it just takes me so out of it, and the rhythm, it just gets me with the rhythm. I don't know. But yeah, this was lovely. And then I feel like Bronn did Bronn leave at some point, or did he just watch that whole thing?
He was just sitting there eating pickled crab.
I'm gonna take... Oh, look at
this. You guys have 8 minutes.
Look at this big dragon over here. You guys have until this cigarette burns down to the filter. Okay, I'll step outside. Also, I want to know, I watched this again, I was like, what poor soul drew the short straw that meant they have to light the torches in the scary dragon pit every day?
Yeah.
That would be terrible.
It's Septa Unella, and she does it with her hair.
Yeah, it's that's where the Mountain and Septa Unella live. That's their studio.
Gross.
No, like a studio apartment.
I know, still gross.
I feel like it's kind of romantic. Like, I feel like in their off time, they're just like a regular couple, and they I don't know, find dead rats together and
eat them.
I think they probably roast him over one of those torches, maybe. Maybe she does, maybe he doesn't.
That's why they have the torches.
He shows her how to bash people's heads against the walls. He finds
ring them as bells.
Laugh at Queen, smash. I like this. I think this would be a great webcomic. So
I'm hearing the Pinky and the Brain theme.
But they're both Pinky. There's no brain.
There is no brain.
Brain actually figured out the solution to his problem and just cloned Pinky and then went off to become Maester Qyburn.
Oh my god, Brain is Maester Qyburn.
So meanwhile, at the Street of Steel, Davos comes looking and finds Gendry, who is more than ready and willing and able to leave the Street of Steel and stop making armor for the people who killed his father. I love it, even without the motivation, Davos is like, do you want to come skip 18 years of promotion and possibly get a lordship and be legitimized and come hang out with a couple of dragons with me?
And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I would. I would like to stop pounding steel for assholes. Can I please?
My note on this scene, when I was watching it the first time, was, Dad's hammer. Like, oh, I bet the fact that he carries a warhammer with him is going to be very important next episode. Nope.
I feel like he could get a lot done with the whites and a warhammer.
Yeah, no, but I thought that it was, oh, we got a shot of this hammer so that it's not weird that he has it next episode. As opposed to, so that it's not weird that he has it in 3.5 minutes.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I feel like that would have been a little on the nose.
Yeah.
It's like when you're watching Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and the headsman goes to get an axe because they were supposed to hang everybody, but there's always room for one more. And as he picks the axe up out of the cloth, the camera focuses on it for a minute, and then there's a whinny of a horse screaming by. He's about to use this axe. It's getting dangerous here.
Guys, this is an important moment for the podcast.
We haven't,
because this is the first time we have referenced Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves all season.
In over a year.
In over a year. It might have come up in Super Fight.
I don't know, man. I feel like it didn't. This felt momentous just now.
It did.
God, why isn't that shit on Netflix? More people need to see it.
Right?
Okay. So, Gendry Joe Dempsey is back and phenomenal as usual. He is. I mean, it was like picking up right where we left off. Gendry is like riding a bike. Oh, so funny.
Except for saying the name.
Yes, except for that. That I still need training wheels on. It's like your Twitter handle. I'm not going to demonstrate. But yeah, Joanna Robinson pointed out something on her. She's a writer for Vanity Fair and co-host Cast of Kings with Dave Chen, which is another great podcast you should listen to. She pointed out on her Twitter, she was like, guys, cool. I know you're all working on your daddy issues and whatnot, and it was a picture of Jon, the Hound, and Gendry. And she's like, could somebody, one of you please mention Arya at some point, because they all eventually get to, which we'll get to, but nobody. At no point do Gendry and... Because Gendry knows who Arya is.
Right.
Anyway. So...
Gendry knows who Arya is. The Hound knows that she was alive.
Mm-hmm. The Hound also knows that she left him for dead and did not kill him.
Yep.
So that'll be a fun greeting. So Gendry and Davos follow out of King's Landing. They get some trouble at a boat, but Davos is really good at bribing people, so he covers up Gendry's hammer, which Gendry is pretty good at using, which is good, because Tyrion walks out without any kind of disguise, just a wealthy-looking dwarf, and the guards are like, hey,
with a scar on his face.
We were supposed to find you a couple of years ago, and you have a scar. And then they waste a lot of time bloviating, enough time for Gendry to take out both of them with his hammer, and Tyrion to nod in approval and exclaim that he'll do.
I loved this scene, but my favorite part of this scene was the fact that when I always pull up the Thrones Wiki in case I missed something in my notes, and I scrolled down to the deaths, and we got Randy, we got Dickie, and we have Gold Cloak 1 and Gold Cloak 2.
Oh, R.I.P.
And that's the entire... that is the entire death list for this episode.
It was kind of light compared to last week.
Yeah.
Innumerable
last
Lannister
week,
soldiers, 10 Dothraki soldiers.
Yeah, last week the appearances, deaths, yes.
Oh, you know what I noticed? This is just an aside for Spoils of War. Do you know what I realized? And this is probably something just totally new to me because I'm not as steeped in the academics of this kind of warfare or the fantasy academics of it. But what Dany does with the dragons is the dragons fly ahead and break the lines.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, she's plowing the road. I get it. And also just, in general, cause mass destruction.
It's the flying V.
But yeah, breaks the lines. Anyway, just a side note that I was pretty pleased that I managed to recognize, because normally I look at that stuff like it's Chinese. But, so, I loved Tyrion. Every time we see Tyrion in a fight, Tyrion is still terrified, because he knows he can't defend himself at all. And I love that even 7 years in, Peter Dinklage was behind that boat being like, oh shit, come on, you've got to be kidding me. I was just in the Red Keep. They're going to get me. Davos isn't a fighter. And then all of a sudden Gendry shows up and boom. It was just, I love that Tyrion still is like, I'm still a dwarf and I am still super fucked unless I am surrounded by trustworthy guards. Trustworthy
guards or a shield.
Mm-hmm. That I can duck behind.
Which he had neither of.
Oh, also interesting. And this is because I'm thinking about Tyrion. Jon and Tyrion have both touched Drogon's nose. What do you think that means?
Boop.
Boop. They are the boopers. The three boops. The three boops of the dragon.
It is the boops that were promised.
I just want to say boop, but we're professional. So that was great. Fast friends. I love that Tyrion can safely say, I had nothing to kill with you. I had nothing to do with killing you and your bastard brothers and sisters. FYI. And then Davos takes Gendry back to Dragonstone, where Jon is trying to convince Dany that they should be able to go to Eastwatch, or he does at some point during this visit. And Davos says, to Gendry, yo, your name is Clovis. Just shut the fuck up about it. King John has way too much to deal with. And Gendry's like, sure, absolutely, totally fine. Hi, my name's Gendry Snow. Our dads were friends. Or Gendry Storm, our dads were friends.
Yeah.
And it's kind of this cute Nedbert 2.0 thing. I wasn't... Yeah.
Did
you like that?
Yeah, I did. And for me, it's just Davos has no idea how to play the game. To me, that was entirely on Davos.
He's like everyone's... Oh, I was actually more talking about the scene between Jon and Gendry, but...
But to me, that was entirely on Davos.
No, I meant their conversation. Just them clearly sort of being Nedbert 2.0. But I would love to talk about Davos a little bit, because you just reminded me that he feels like everyone's dad this week.
He needed a cardigan.
He really did. And some sneakers, like some...
Like Keds?
Yeah, totally. Very Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. I feel like all of a sudden Davos became comic relief very quickly.
Yeah, he just... And that,
not in a bad way.
No, but it got a little sitcom-y. It got a little know your name. Like, again, I love Joe Dempsey, but it was also like, okay, you need to pair him with someone other than Davos right now, because these guys are both too funny, and it's fucking with the tone of the show, almost. Again, I enjoyed it, but as for, like, the Nedbert stuff, I was a little bit... I liked it, but it sort of felt like the Arya Sansa stuff to me, and I'm like, okay, well, here's our scene of them becoming best buds. Because they gotta be, because they're two dudes, they're of an age, so they have to be friends. And it felt it just felt, like I said, a little bit like the Arya Sansa thing. I'm like, okay, well, these are two characters you're trying to fit into archetypes. And I don't know that they... But they still have good chemistry, and as long as they don't try to force a weird bromance down our throats, I think it's fun that there's a bit of callback to Ned and Robert, and I think it's fun that we'll get to see them. We'll get to see echoes of what their relationship used to be like, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
You're flipping through your notes?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember where we are. And where we are is the big reveal.
Oh, the baby?
No. Oh, yeah, I guess there's the baby, but we covered the baby.
Well, that Bran still, they get the note.
No. Rhaegar got an annulment.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually...
do we have anything else to say about...
Yeah, because this is where they formed the... Jon gets the note from Bran, and this is where they decide to go to Eastwatch.
Where they formed the Fellowship of the Ring?
Yes, exactly. Of all the seasons for Ned to still be dead. Oh my gosh, do you think they're going to meet Benjen?
They might bring back Benjen.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be convincing enough. He's not scary enough. They'll be like,
he's not dead enough.
That is absolutely, like, that is 100% face paint on your hands, whatever. And he'd, like, cut a hand off and not bleed. They're like, whatever. That was really articulate. I feel like, yeah, I wouldn't believe Benjen. I wouldn't want to touch him, but I'd be like, you're just sick. You have some kind of disease. Like, no. But, yeah, this is when, like, Bran Jon has this moment where he's like, I thought Arya was dead. I thought Bran was dead. I think Dany was like, cool, yeah, that must be crazy. So, what's up?
Yeah. So, is there anything more?
Yeah. And then he just decides to up and go. One of my favorite moments in the episode was her, like, she's like, I haven't given you permission to leave. And he was like, yeah. Remember how I didn't bend the knee yet?
Still didn't do it.
Still haven't done it. I'm a king. And I'm gonna... I love that he, like, basically winks at her and is like, okay, bye. I'm heading out now.
Jon went out to get cigarettes.
That's basically what it is. She's leaving her with 3 children to watch by herself.
Here's a story.
Oh, no. And then Jorah volunteers to go, which is...
Mm-hmm. Not surprising.
Well, and also, that little character, that sort of... that thing you sent me on Reddit showed him as a ranger, and that's kind of what he is. I mean... He's a pretty good tracker if you think about what he did with the Dothraki, like how long he lived by himself in Essos.
He found that ring.
He sure did find that ring. Well, I mean, just sew this up right now. Jorah's got this sewn up. He found a ring in the middle of a grassy field. Of course, in the middle of a bunch of footprints too. Somebody pointed that out too, but it was kind of cool. It's just interesting seeing Jorah back in the north.
Yeah.
I'm mad they didn't stop at Winter. I mean, obviously they couldn't. They took boats, but he better make it back alive because he needs to meet his niece.
Meet his niece?
Lyanna Mormont.
Oh. Okay, I was thinking Jon for some reason.
No, Jorah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, he does.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I don't think he's gonna make it back alive.
I know the answer.
Don't tell me.
Obviously, I would never do that. There's a lot of stuff I would do to somebody before I would spoil Game of Thrones for them. Like a lot. Like not pay them. You want
to keep having a podcast?
Like not give them $20 that they asked for like 2 weeks ago. I would do that before I would spoil Game of Thrones for somebody. I would steal small sums of money over a long period of time. And then I think we have Cersei and Jaime and the baby, which I think we've probably talked enough about. You think?
I think so.
I wonder what double she's going to get. Or
the one moment we did get is the knock on the door with from her handmaid, whose name I can't remember, who it has been pointed out has every season changed her hair to match Cersei's.
Because Cersei has ordered her to, I bet.
Most likely.
That's great. Or she just wakes up and it's done. Like she woke up one day and she had a Twiggy haircut. What the fuck? I hate this job. And then we had to Old Town and Gilly, arguably one of the most important moments in the entire series.
And Sam's busy mansplaining over it.
Incorrectly. I love how Gilly just like doesn't care.
Yeah.
He does not intimidate her at all. She has no ego to speak of. And she's like, no, you got it wrong, jackass.
Yep. So we have confirmed that Rhaegar was at least single when he ran off with Lyanna.
She trails off when she says he got an annulment from his wife and performed a secret marriage too, and doesn't say who it is. So that's why everybody was able to go apeshit over the fact that Jon's legitimized, because he is. And I am so interested in like what this will do to his and Dany's relationship. Just in terms of like friendship or allies, because my cousin asked me a while ago, he's like, so who's the actual heir to the throne? Is it Jon or Dany? And I was like, well, technically, if you believe in Robert's rebellion, it's Cersei. Because that, like, according to Robert's rebellion, he would have started a new line, so the Targaryens are all illegitimate and not eligible, essentially, to take the throne, but because their line was overthrown, so they're not eligible to inherit it. But,
except,
well, hang on, let me finish really quickly. So like I was just saying, like that eliminates them. So Cersei sits at the throne because she's like done murderous things and has outlived everybody, including her own children, all of her heirs. So it finally falls to a woman. But if you don't believe in Robert's rebellion and think he was a usurper and the Targaryen line is still what's meant to be on the throne, then technically Dany is the heir because Jon is a bastard. But if Jon is legitimized, Jon is the heir because he's next in line to the direct to the Targaryen middle line. So now they're in competition if this ever gets out.
We did the math on this last season or the season before. And number one, Cersei would likely not be eligible because it doesn't go upwards. And Robert's claim to the throne was because he was a Targaryen, was because he had Targaryen blood.
Oh, that's right. Well, okay, that's true. Which
would make Robert's closest heir, potentially, at least in the show, Dany.
I still go back to the Cersei thing a little bit because, yeah, I know that power, it doesn't flow upward, but she's literally the only person left. Who isn't even adjacent to the throne. So I feel like where she is now, she's sitting...
She was literally closest to the throne.
Yeah, exactly. But that's right. Yeah, I forgot that he made that claim based on the fact he was part Targaryen. They don't focus on that in the show at all. That's probably...
No, not at all.
But it is neat to know. So, yeah, I do remember we talked about that, and it was kind of funny that she was his heir. But, I don't know, do you...
Yeah, I did that math on the train when we were doing the... whatchamacallit, the
Silicon Valley.
Hollywood Improv. Hollywood Improv show.
Oh, that's fun. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do you foresee this having any real effect on their relationship? Do you think Jon is going to embrace this?
Yeah, but I think it's just gonna. I don't think it's gonna kill their relationship because I think that'd be weird that it didn't.
You think it'd be weird if they didn't kill their relationship?
From a plotting standpoint, it had suddenly become Valley of the Dolls. Valley of the Dolls? Is that the one I'm thinking of?
I don't think so. I'm not sure.
What's the Bonfire of the whatever the Flowers in the Attic.
Oh yeah, because I meant like in terms of power, but yeah, that is now that it is going to come out. Like, what are they going to do? Because I don't really care anymore, honestly. But this is, I have a feeling this show is going to have a hard time selling to a Western audience. Like John and Danny being like, "Oh my gosh, we're aunt and uncle," and then Danny being like, "Well, my family used to marry brother and sister, so this is positively normal." And happy music plays, freeze frame, the show ends. Like I feel like it's going to be really hard for even HBO to sell
All
that.
in the Family plays.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious because it looks like they are pushing romance with them, which I'll find really interesting. Because it's also not they're also not really going to be able to go the soap opera route where they have sex and then realize they're related and then like have to.
It's weird.
Yeah, but it's still like kind of sultry, and then it turns out somebody was adopted, and like that's how they resolve those storylines. But I don't think they can do that either.
Exact opposite.
Yeah, like they can't, like they'll find out they're related, and then I wonder what they're gonna do with it. It's gonna be weird because like even when Cersei and Jaime have sex, like it's meant to be messed up. It's not meant to be okay. It's meant to be the really freakishly awful thing about these people. So I feel like the show can't really present John and Danny in a positive light.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they find some way to like delegitimize her birth. Maybe Varys will pop up then, like right as they're about to do it and say no, and then he can be like, "Oh no, she's not a Targaryen, fake baby."
Yeah, it's a wig.
Mm-hmm. I'm a brunette. Tiny Baratheon.
Look at the eyebrows. The seed is strong.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Yeah, now I'm trying to figure out different places that could go, and I feel like none of them are really good. Or maybe it just drives Jon back up north to be with Sansa, where he belongs. Love triangle.
That'd
be dope.
And then we go up north.
I really hope
where
that
he belongs.
The snow is up. I really hope that Danny goes up to help fight at the wall, and then they all go take a breather at Winterfell, and Danny and like Sansa and Arya have, I don't know, girl talk. I would be so pleased if we got a scene where they were just three women sitting and eating at the same table. Because I feel like Sansa would not like Danny. I feel like Arya would not super trust her, but would be like totally interested in the dragons. I don't know. I'm just so in love with this dynamic right now.
You know the episode of the West Wing where it turns out that Donna is Canadian for an episode, and so she goes and gets drunk with CJ and the First Lady?
Yeah. Oh, and then she yells at the First Lady a little bit?
Yep. Yeah. You mean the First Lady again. Yeah, I did.
What did you expect?
CJ is Sansa, Donna is Arya, and Abby is Danny.
Is always Daenerys Targaryen. I like that. I like that a lot. I think with that, we finally make our... finally. In 2 seconds, time and space have bended. And they
took the subway.
They're really leaning into the boat travel.
Yep.
I gotta say. So yeah, time and space have no meaning accordingly. And John and his crew... I like Snow Patrol and Snow Ocean's 11. Mm-hmm. I'm leaning against Snow Patrol just because Snow Ocean's 11 doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well. But I respect Snow Ocean's 11.
The Magnificent Seven.
Oh my god, I like Snow Patrol. Sorry, that wasn't an argument. I was just reaffirming
Coldplay.
Coldplay date. So Snow Patrol finally reach Eastwatch. Tormund's like, this is boring.
Yeah, this sucks. Did you bring the big woman with you?
I know, that was so... I'm sorry, I love Close the Door and Come Here, and they recently tweeted, we are not here for like Tormund and Brienne bullshit. Sorry, we don't think it's funny. And I just want to tell you ladies, if you're listening, you're probably not, but I no longer want them to, like, make out or, like, be together at all, but I just want to see them, like, share a screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. She can be having sex with Jamie at the same time. I think it would still be really entertaining if Tormund were, like, on screen.
Just there eating a pork chop.
Just there. And not, like, being weird about it, just kind of, like, perusing.
Because it's how he does.
He's respecting her game in every way. Like, but so, yeah, Jon's like, cool, so I brought these people, we're gonna go north and actually try and, like, capture a White Walker. Don't stop, it gets better. Because then we have to bring it down south. And we have absolutely no guarantee it'll still be magical and alive by the time we get it there. Because the last time we tried that, it did not work out. So, that's, yeah, do they think if they just bring an entire white down, that it will remain animated? Unlike the hand that they brought down? Which was...
all I thought about was Shaun of the Dead. And the... alright, we're gonna go save what's her name? Kill Phil. Sorry, Phil. Get the car and go to the Winchester and wait for this all to blow over. Like we should have seen all of this in in Cutaway. Them executing on all of their plan.
Yeah.
Hold on. Ted Cooper.
All right, folks, this is going to be a very clean jump back in just because I'm not totally certain where we left off, but we're talking about Eastwatch, and Jon and his friends get out. Oh, we were saying that we wanted to see them executing part of their plan. Were you saying, like, you want to see, like, some sort of, like, fun, like, battle-ready montage?
I felt like it should have been cutting away to them executing on their plan as they were describing it, and then it doesn't go that way. It felt like a space movie.
Oh, yeah. Gotcha. I see that. Yeah, that would have been really, really slapstick. There's just so much room for slapstick in this show. I don't know why they don't take more advantage of it. Right. So, like, Jon says this is who he's brought, and he's got a pretty decent team. And Tormund's like, the big one?
Think we need one more? I think we need one more.
Yeah. Tormund's like, absolutely, I am going. I am so very bored here. This is... And also, it makes sense. He knows the North better than everybody.
Right.
Then they encounter the Hound and Beric and Thoros in a cell, and I saw that and I was like, how long were they gonna fucking stay there? What was the plan with that?
Eat them.
I guess. I think
Lord of Bones 2.0.
Oh, man.
Or I guess then.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting fact, though. You've heard the George talking about fire whites, right?
Nope.
George has referred to Beric as a fire white.
Oh, yeah, I did hear him. I did read something where somebody asked what the difference was between Beric and Jon and the whites, and he said, well, they were brought back to life by fire, and the whites are brought back, or the whites are animated by ice. Like, they're that's kind of, I like that.
So what we are getting is the opening coda to the Song of Ice and Fire.
Ooh. A Song of White and Fire.
That too.
I mean, Beric looks like he's breaking out his sword again.
Yep.
In the previews, so that's pretty exciting. And then we get them after a bit of kerfuffle, where all of the men must point out the many reasons why they don't like each other. His Gendry runs right up to the front. Is like, these guys are assholes. They are assholes. They sold me to this lady, and then you won't even believe what happened. And then he even just backs away, like he kind of just needed to say his piece.
He says his name's not Warren. I thought his name was Warren.
My name's not Warren.
My name's not fucking Clovis.
Said his name was Clovis. Gentrier Records.
I don't feel the need to explain my art to you, Clovis.
It's 100% the Hound who's just staring into the fire. Alright, okay. So, Jon picks up those three yahoos.
Yep.
Who I wouldn't pick up. I would let him sit there. One of them's got one eye. One of them has like an eye and a half. One of them is clearly... Oh, I'm sorry. Would you want to go on an expedition?
I mean, given the options.
If you had a fire sword.
Yeah.
I feel like that evens it up.
I mean, you're actively talking to a one-eyed fire breather. I kind of fit this team really well.
I'm sorry. I put my foot in it. I apologize. So mean. I'm excited for they got to give me like one campfire. I want one campfire with this group because
can of beans.
Oh man, I want Tormund. I'm mad that Tormund put the Hound in jail because I feel like they would get along. Actually, yeah. I don't know. Would they?
I want to find out that Tormund's like a tenor.
That'd be fun, and they get drunk together, and all of a sudden there's this weird form of like they find the one song they both know,
and it's When Irish Eyes Are Smiling.
To everyone's surprise, Thoros finally. Then they cut to Jon being like, "All right, enough fun and games. Let's get to work." And then the gates open, just like in Game of Thrones, the first episode. It's the first episode called Winter is Coming, or the first episode called Game of Thrones?
I believe the first episode was called Winter is Coming.
Oh, I maybe misspoke on the last podcast. In the first episode, Winter is Coming. The opening shot is the gate going, the portcullis going up, and the Rangers moving out. This time, there's more of them, and they kind of have a plan. Actually, they have a pretty simple plan.
They absolutely have a plan. It just sucks.
It's a terrible plan. This is where they could have used Kyber Scorpion. Just like kebab a bunch of those guys and carry it back. All right, folks. Thank you so much again. Yeah, we'll check you out Beyond the Wall Sunday nights.